welcome back to Kudo. Today I wanted to show you a little bit about how you can make changes to the change world settings. So for the sake of this, I've gotten my little game started here, my little Kudo, and I made a little terrain. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate all the way down to the end and make the yellow brackets appear around this last icon. And you'll see when you click on it, you get a bunch of choices. And the 5 things I wanted to show you today are how you change the glass wall setting, how you change the camera setting, how you change the sky settings, the lighting settings, and the start game with settings. So the first one is glass walls. You'll notice that Kudo defaults this to being on, and what this means is when your Kudo gets to the end of the terrain or the green area, he bounces. And you'll see that it's on because this little icon is green. If I unclick this, it becomes gray. If you click escape now, that saves your setting, and you hit play, and I've already programmed him so that he moves forward with the arrow keys. If you move him forward, you'll see what happens. When he, instead of bouncing, he falls away. And that may not always be a very desired effect, but it might be in a game. So to change that, hit escape, go back to your settings, and make the green appear back on this. That's how you change those. It's a basic toggle. The next feature that's kind of cool is that Kudo defaults the camera to a set camera at the free mode. And I find this a little bit disorienting, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Because what I'm going to show you, what I would prefer is setting it to a fixed option. Fixed offset. But let's show you the difference between them. So when it defaults to moving freely, what that means is that the camera follows the ground and the Kudo. And I find that a little bit dizzying sometimes because the ground moves and the Kudo's moving, and it's a little bit tricky, and I've found that's a little difficult programming games, especially with kids where there's lots of characters and lots of terrain in the background. So what I would recommend is going back and changing your setting from the free that it defaults to the fixed offset. And I'm going to show you what the difference is here. In this case, it's just going to follow the Kudo. So you do the ground, it moves, and it's sort of a subtle change, but it's a little bit less dizzying and easier to keep track of your characters. And it's really good for sideways scrolling. So that's one right out of the box I'd suggest if you have kids that are trying to keep track of a little complicated background. I think this does a little bit better to making it a little less hard to keep track of where everything's moving. Okay, the third setting that we're going to look at is how you change the sky and the lighting. Now basically that's going to change your background, and you scroll through these options through your direction keys. You see, you have a lot of different things, and I'm not going to go through all of them, and I play with them please at your own discretion, but you'll see that the sky defaults to this blue that you can already see, and when you select choices, it gives you a little preview. So it's kind of neat. You can see it before you actually select it. So in this case, I'm just going to, for the sake of picking something that looks kind of cool, pick the purple, and then if you go right down, click the arrow key to lighting, you can do the same sort of thing, and that's going to change sort of the effect that the ground looks like. So I'm going to change it to, oh, I don't know, it's a little bit more dramatically different. Let's see, a lot of different things here. Hit escape, go back to hit or play. So again, it's more just the artistry of Kudo, which I do think is kind of cool. It does allow you to have a palette, and it does allow you in real time to see what the effects are when you change them. Here he is. He's going to hit this. You're going to see him bounce because we have glass walls turned on, right? Whereas if we hadn't, he would have fallen off the edge. The last thing I want to show you today is the starting game with. And here, it defaults to nothing. You can change this. If you put world title, I'll show you what that does because I've entitled this. And that's the title of the file. You may or may not want that. What you can also do is the countdown, which I kind of like. And let's see what that, show you what that does here. Yeah, and I kind of like that. I played around with the world description and countdown, and I think there's a little bit more complexity to that programming because it just shows you the title and doesn't go to the countdown. So I think you have to program that. So I think for now, for the elementary coder dojo, I think this might be just cool enough to have this. So anyhow, so in a nutshell, there's lots of different things you can do to, once you get your programming down, to kind of put the finishing touches on it to make it look kind of like a fun little real-time game. So that's all we have for today, and stay tuned, and I'll post more Kodo Dojo fun.